probably the most famous movie from
Yeah,
1946.
you're right.
It's a Wonderful Life,
It's a Wonderful
the
Life.
Christmas classic.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yes.
Also, maybe the most famous Frank Capra movie? Question mark.
Yeah, now that you're saying
It's
all of
it
this,
is
you are
kind of
definitely correct that it's the most famous Frank Capra movie and the most famous movie in this episode. Uh, a movie that notably was not that famous, not that beloved at the time, and then became a staple from being on
right.
TV all the time. Which is
Yeah,
crazy to me because this movie's really good.
it's really really good. Yeah, yeah. This is like his right. Frank Capra's like big, his first movie back after World War II. And even though it isn't directly, I mean, it's partially about it addresses World War II. There's like, it that happens in the plot of the movie, but it's not a war movie. It's not really about the like this not in the same way that Best Year of Our Lives is, but I think it's psychologically, it is sort of like metatextually about World War II in a similar way.
How do you mean?
I think in the sense of I don't know, do we want to do a synopsis? George Bailey is sort of sacrificing so much of himself for his community and doesn't feel like he is being seen for it, and he feels like he has sort of wasted so much of his life, the best years of his life perhaps.
He's always
Um
choosing to help people over helping himself. And
yes.
and he
And he feels unappreciated, and he feels like he
he's
has
not bitter though.
wasted that.
It's just
He's
that like
kind of bitter at times.
I think he's not he's well, I think well when you say it it's like he's not bitter at other
Right.
people. He just
Right. He's bitter at himself
he feels
mostly.
unfulfilled when
Yeah.
is constantly choosing to not fulfill himself.
Right. He's constantly choosing other people's needs over his own.
Yeah. Big mood.
Right. I mean, this was also Jimmy Stewart's first movie after World War II. He also fought, I mean, he was like in a bomber in World War II. He was like constantly trying to get like not preferential treatment because he was a movie star. He was like, no, like send me to France, send me to Germany. I want to actually do stuff.
I want to actually do
Um,
stuff. Let me do
I
some
want to actually
stuff.
go out there and drop bombs. Sure, yeah. And so like there's I guess we'll get into it as we talk about the movie, but like there's been, I think, much written about how like his like psychological state after World War II adds so much to this performance,
Hmm.
where it's like he was able to bring so much more emotion and depth to it because he was like drawing upon the his own, not necessarily like, yeah, his own trauma or his own
Yeah,
experiences
he
from
he
that.
plays
So
haunted well at points in this movie. I guess to
right.
summarizing also is that like
Yeah.
he does all this stuff. He takes over his dad's company that helps people who are struggling to buy homes,
The building and
the
loan.
building alone. And there's an evil banker who he kind of is
Ooh.
always trying to take him down. And eventually there's some misplaced money that ends up in this banker's hands, and he says, "Now is my time. I'm going to use this to destroy him." And he starts becoming destroyed. And there's this whole framing device of like we're watching through his life as being described to his guardian angel.
Hmm. Clarence.
There's a moment where he has his life insurance policy and he's told he's worth more dead than alive. And he's about to kill himself, and then his guardian angel steps in and shows him all of the ways that that the world is better
Well,
in a
because
minute.
he's talking to the right. He's gonna jump off a bridge. The guardian angel jumps into the river ahead of him, so he jumps off the bridge to save Clarence, who he doesn't yet know is an angel. And while he's talking to Clarence, he says, "I wish I was never been born." And Clarence is like, "I can arrange that." And so, in order to show George Bailey how much of a wonderful life he has lived, he shows him what the world would be. He transports him to an alternate reality in which he had never been born. And he sees his wonderful hometown of Bedford Falls, the most American town that has ever existed.
He sees his Back to the Future 2 nightmare.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Back to the Future 2 very inspired by this movie, I'm sure. Which has now become Pottersville, run by Potter, the evil banker. And all of the good deeds that he has done over his life haven't happened, and so the town is just a sort of a cesspool of capitalism. And I do think it's funny that they're like the town has been ruined. It's full of nightclubs.
Yeah, a lot of anti-nightclub sentiment in these movies.
Very much so, yeah.
There's there's
Um
also like a part where
Pro alcoholism but anti nightclub.
he is trying to check in on all of the people in his life when he has never been born, and he's like, what about my wife, like what about this person that I love? And then his guardian angel's like, oh, you don't want to see that, she's a 36-year-old unmarried librarian.
Oh yeah, that is
What
a
a
thing.
loser.
That is, I think, the part of the movie that I don't really have. I think is right to be criticized. I think that point kind of sucks. I've heard arguments for and against it. I've heard I've heard readings of it that are more positive and aren't sort of so kind of misogynist. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Mary becomes an old maid.
A spinster. You're mentioning all the small town and all of these people who know each other and everything. And while I was making this movie, this doesn't hit every point, but I was kind of making a bullet list of Capricorn
Right,
attributes.
yeah.
We got small town. We got
Mhm.
everyone loves the main character and he knows everyone in this small town.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
have a
Yeah.
very earnest main character who believes in
Yeah.
stuff and wants to believes in
Yeah.
principles.
But gets taken advantage of because of that goodness.
Yep. This movie doesn't have this, but we have the cynical woman whose cynicism is defeated by the main character and comes to believe in stuff.
I would kind of argue that it's not she's not as big of a character in this, but what's her name? Violet, who's sort of the more I don't know, because there's like Mary, who's like the nice girl that he marries, and then Violet is the one who's always kind of like trying to seduce him away, or to like lead him
Right.
more to like there's sort of this road not taken, I guess, sort of with Violet. I do think Violet has a bit of a sort of like she's presented, I guess, as a slightly more cynical character. She doesn't really
Yeah.
fit in that archetype.
Uh,
Maybe I'm grasping at straws here.
uh, other points. Working class families that also have servants for some reason. Um,
Right.
Chaotic families. America
in
rules.
in
Uh,
in the best years of our lives, when Al comes back, he's like, oh, like it's the maid's day off, and they're like, oh no, we got rid of the maid, we can't afford one anymore. And I was like, you could afford a maid before.
but yeah, Capricorn loves America and class conscious, but not communist, and also punching solves problems.
Yeah, even though I found out the FBI apparently did accuse this movie of being like communist propaganda. The FBI.
The FBI.
Goddamn, J. Edgar Hoover saw this movie and was like, communism,
I mean, that's the thing. It's
shut it down.
Capra is quite conservative, but he
Yeah.
makes. He's nowhere near D.W. Griffith levels, but he is making. He's aware of bad businessmen and is
Yeah.
always making movies about bad businessmen must be defeated.
Yeah. The bad businessman in this movie, Mr. Potter, maybe the one of the most famous evil banker characters in all of American fiction.
Yeah,
A real Scrooge type,
he is a real
which
Scrooge
apparently
type.
is the reason Lionel Barrymore was cast, is because he had played Scrooge, I think, on the radio. And they were like, also, I mean, he worked with Capra before in
You cannot take it with you.
Can't Take It With You, or as we call it, Quirky Grandpa. And here he goes from playing Quirky Grandpa to evil banker.
Yeah.
Not grandpa because he has no children, but
I mean, speaking of you can't take it with you. In the in the savings alone, there's a picture of his dad on the wall with a quote that says, "All you can take with you is that which you've given away." Uh, so it's kind of
Oh.
like hitting the same idea of like, you know,
Yeah.
don't you can't take your money with you into the afterlife. Like, do good
Yeah.
things while you're alive, basically.
There's a lot of recurring actors in this movie from that one, and a lot of recurring, I think, thematic ideas. I think this movie is so much better than You Can't Take It With You,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah.
Like, hot take, It's a Wonderful Life, I think, is great and rules, and I watch it every year.
This is only my second time seeing it. I saw it for the first time recently, and I was shocked at the suicide angle in it.
Yeah, it's
It
dark. It
is,
is funny that this is like a classic Christmas movie because it only like maybe 20 minutes of it take place around Christmas.
yeah,
And it is really surprisingly dark for a like light family comedy as it
yeah.
is usually remembered
But
as.
it works. I think the darkness,
Yeah. It balances.
this is the
Yeah.
kind of movie to move you to tears, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It gets you in the feelings, and I think it needs that darkness in order to
But
get
it's
you
like
there.
it's happy tears, I feel.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, this movie definitely gets the waterworks going in a good way. Um but it's like it feels like it's like a cathartic, it's like cathartic tears. It's not like
yeah.
this movie is very much not a bummer despite its darkness.
Yeah, this is a movie about like somebody losing sight of everyone who loves him and appreciates him. And then in the end of the movie, they're like, "Of course we'll help you get out of your jam. We all love you and appreciate you." And it's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh."
Yeah. So the scene right before George goes to the bridge to jump, he has this bit where he prays, and as he prays, he breaks out into tears. And apparently, as the story goes, the tears were unscripted. It was just supposed to be him like sitting there and praying, and then he leaves. But because James Stewart was just like overwhelmed with emotion shooting the scene because of like his years of being in the war and coming back, and just like all of these sort of like emotions were sort of like hitting at once, and he actually broke down while they were shooting it, and so that's what's in the movie. I don't know how true that is. That's sort of one of those like behind the scenes stories that I'm like, I don't know. It's sort of like it's become legend at this point. But I do think there is like you were saying, like James Stewart plays melancholy really well. And I do think this is definitely one of the movies he's known for, like really hitting the melancholy stuff, even though he does a lot of goofy stuff too. Early on, especially. I do feel like there is a noticeable sort of like shift in his performance style or in like the roles he takes post war.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people, his early 30s, it was like 30s and early 40s movies are much more comedic, much more lighthearted.
Mhm.
And I think his like 40s and 50s movies, he goes a bit more into the
Well, he
darkness,
starts
you know?
working with Hitchcock and then doing
Right. Yeah.
all of these roles of like uh very
Right.
compromised people.
Obsessive, murderous people. Yeah. Yeah. It's just interesting to see how like World War II did sort of like affect just people's maybe worldviews too, and
Hmm.
sort of like how they approached storytelling a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot we're not. There's like lots of like famous scenes, I guess, that we're not talking about. But also kind of like, what are we gonna say about the scene where they're dancing and the floor opens up and they fall in the pool? Other than it's great,
Yeah.
it rules.
Yeah. It's a good
They keep
time.
dancing, but they fall in the pool and they keep dancing in the water. It's great.
Yeah, this movie like really believes in like nice little moments. There's the part where he is talking to the I don't know, more corrupted lady who's still nice. And he's like,
Right, but
"Let's
Violet's also like a very seems like a very wonderful person,
yeah."
and like doesn't really, you know.
But he's like, "Oh, let's go and we're gonna take our shoes off and walk in the grass and we're gonna have a time where we're just really getting real." And she's like, "Ugh, taking your shoes
Yeah,
off." You know?
gross. No,
um,
thank you.
and yeah, like the
That's what I
moment,
mean. It's like Violet's not real, man. Violet's not real in the same way that Mary is.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And then of course there's the you want the moon? I'll lasso it.
I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down for you.
Yeah, it's a very kind of like a hometown girl next door sort of story.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of back and forth with them too. Like George keeps kind of being a jerk to her, I think, and there's like there a lot of like kind of near misses with their romance. It feels
Hmm.
like right after the high school graduation dance where they fall in the pool and they have the moon talk. He gets the news that his dad has died, and so that like kind of like pulls him in a whole nother direction. And then like they do eventually get married, but then they have to spend all their honeymoon money to keep the building and loan in business. And right, all of this sort of like he keeps deferring his happiness because like
Hmm.
something came up,
Hmm.
right? Like, oh, I can't do. He keeps wanting to travel the world, and it's like, nope, you can't do that now. You've got to stay in town and take over your dad's business. You can't do this. And he's watching everyone else in his life go. His brother goes off and joins the Air Force, and his friends are going off and doing other things, and he keeps having to stay in this town. And you do feel it, I think, that it's like you feel his frustration, even though he is living a very nice life, right? He's like has a nice marriage, he has nice kids, everyone likes him,
Yeah.
like, but it's this thing is like, oh, he keeps wanting to like do other things, and like the universe is like not letting him almost. And so when he hits his low point, it just feels like there's like so much of this like pent up, yeah, just emotion in that.
Like even though everything's nice, you can believe the moment that he's about to commit suicide.
Right. Yeah. He does snap at his wife and all of his kids, and that I always get so mad at him when he does that. I'm
Yeah.
always like, George, what are you doing? And then it's like, but I also think this movie's whole kind of central premise is right, the idea of him like going and seeing what his life would be if he had never been born, which is a very small section of the movie. It's really
Yeah.
only the third act, pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's like an hour and a half into the
Um,
movie before like the kind of famous stuff happens.
yeah, but it's right. It's like there's tons of great scenes before that.
Yeah.
It's just all sort of like building to this central kind of like I don't know, magical realism kind of premise of the movie.
Yeah.
I guess that's what you'd call it. It's not because it's not really. It's certainly not science fiction. But I also wouldn't really call it fantasy either. But it's like the idea of a guardian angel coming down from outer space. Right. We see like galaxies talking at the beginning,
Yeah,
like lighting up and talking to each other.
it's an interesting depiction of angels, right? It's got this like
Right,
shot.
but it's like heaven as like the heavens,
Yeah.
right? Of just like the sky.
Yeah, it's not like angels in clouds with harps like we might see in Cabin
Yeah.
in the Sky. But it was
Mm.
more, it almost feels like this like secular vision of heaven. It's got this like spacey sort of proto beginning shot of Contact, where it's like
Mm.
swooping through
Mm.
galaxies until it
Yeah.
like lands on these glowing galaxies and stars that are the angels, and then they kind of
Yeah.
materialize as
Which
people.
which I like how this movie deals with like prayer and angels and like morality and things like
It
that
doesn't,
without
yeah,
without feeling like it's not as overtly Christian as it could easily
I
be,
know,
I
yeah, if
think.
this movie were more Christian, I'd have a harder time with it. But
But I also think it appeals like to a Christian audience for sure.
yeah.
Like it just doesn't feel like it doesn't yeah, it's not whatever the version of religious jingoism would be.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it's not jingoistic in that sense. Which I do like. There is I feel like I have to shout out one of my favorite scenes in this movie when Clarence has transported him to the alternate reality where he wasn't born, but he hasn't quite realized it yet. And he goes back to the bar that he was just at, Martini's, and the bartender Martini is like in the running for. I know we bring this up like every episode, in the running for the most 1940s man who has ever lived.
Oh, not Martini. It's the guy who it's the other guy.
Or yeah, the guy that has replaced Martini.
Yeah.
because Clarence the angel orders mulled wine with like extra allspice or whatever, and then goes, "Look here, pal. Round here we serve hard drinks for men who want to get drunk fast, and we don't need any characters hanging around and giving the joint atmosphere. Get me? Or
Incredible.
should I slip you my left for a convincer?" And yes, I did memorize that whole line because it's so good.
Great line reading.
Also, just "I'll slip you my left for a convincer" is his way of saying I'm gonna punch you if you don't shut up.
Yeah, it's great.
Which is like the use of language in 1940s movies. I'm so enamored of, and like I want to speak like someone from a 1940s movie. I realize people in the 40s probably didn't actually speak this way. It's just that screenwriters are good at writing it. But like, just the lingo, the creative use of language, I love.
Damn the 90s for giving us dialogue that's too naturalistic.
Dang you, Linklater, for giving
Tarantino,
us
dog,
naturalistic talking.
dog. Do they do that with Dogme? Get some information up in the frame.
Dogme.
Isn't that Dogme 94?
Is it pronounced Dogme?
That's how it's spelled.
Oh well.
Dogma 95.
I guess it is an E, not an A. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Danish. I don't know. Anyway,
Have you ever heard of Mise en Scène?
get some information up in the frame, bitch.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there any big things? I feel like weirdly I feel like we have almost less to say about this movie because so much has been said about it already.
What do we say?
It's a wonderful life.
It's a
great,
wonderful life.
You know, it's wonderful.